welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios where sports meets life. Happy to be here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, hanging out here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe, we appreciate you being with us. Like I said, inside of these Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Go and see Elijah, Malik, Mark, and the team all throughout the week, Monday through Saturday. And of course, you can get a sneak peek of their inventory and get all the information that you need, including the number for sales and service, by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We got an awesome show set up here for you today inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics for the day and special guests. We're going to start things off fresh off of his invite to the NFL Scouting Combine here in 2026. My guy Enrique Cruz Jr. is going to be joining the show, hailing to you from Chicago, Illinois, on to Syracuse, and then the Kansas Jayhawks. He will be with us for a special presentation. Right after this, will be airing here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in just a moment. Then in hour number 2, as you know, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time is Bearcat Time in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats, telling their stories of student-athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni. I'll be joined this morning by Samantha Jaros of the women's tennis team. Excited to tell her story, and we'll round things out at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's every Tuesday to round out the show. Today's topic, forming positive habits. So we're going to take a very quick, fast break, and we'll be back with our special with Enrique Cruz Jr. as he heads to the NFL Scouting Combine in just a few weeks.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find your way over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and Sundays they're open 10 to 5 with singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, and more, including all the supplies you need to protect your cards. Whether you're a fan of Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, One Piece, Disney Lorcana, or you're out there collecting hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, wrestling, make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks today and let your kid's spirit run around the store and have some fun. We look forward to seeing you over there in the only store that I would send you to here in Central and Upstate New York when it comes to the best of the best in sports card and trading card collecting. Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And if this weather has shown you anything this winter, it's that you need to get yourself in some all-wheel drive and these Honda-style vehicles. I am grateful for the one that I have, my Honda CRV. My family's had a bunch of Hondas throughout the years. My dad loves his Ridgeline. You can get a sneak peek by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Go visit them. Let them know the DT sent you. I am here with my VP. Back in the day, I said, this is how it's going to work. I'm of age to run for president. He can be my vice president. Then after I serve 8 years and he's my VP, we can flip it on the ticket. And there's nothing that says a former president can't be the VP. So we're about to hold it down for 16 years inside of the White House. And we would have a nice Italian, Hispanic White House and grandma making the rice. It's Enrique Cruz Jr. He started his career at Syracuse. He finished it at Kansas. And he's one of the few people in America of thousands upon thousands of student athletes that ever get the honor of being asked to go to the NFL Combine. And we are here to talk about that and so much more. Kiko, my VP, my family, my brother, and my guy that I put on my ticket to run with me to the presidency. How we doing, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm just happy to be back. It's been a long time. And also, shout out Great Lakes. Ironically, that's where I bought my first car.
Okay.
So shout out Great Lakes and everybody over there. It's great service, great people.
Yeah, awesome people. Elijah, Malik, everybody there. Mark. So you got your first vehicle. What'd you get there?
I got a Honda CRV 2025.
Okay. So you got a 2025. I got a 2025. So I like that. I respect that for sure. I got the black on black with the heated seats and the sunroof and all that stuff because
Yep.
I never wanted any of that. And then they had a deal a few years ago and they told me, they said, once you get spoiled, you're going to stay spoiled. So what color did you get? What CRV did you get?
I got it was a dark gray one. At night it looks black, but it was dark gray.
Okay, so we're both rocking Honda CRVs from Great Lakes Honda City. Perfect promotion for them. Shout out to them and the whole team over there. We know that, and you know that I love y'all and I appreciate y'all for how you've treated me for over a decade, being here with me on the show and over 11 years to get my vehicles there. Enrique, you made the decision, and it was you and I never talked about this on the air, but when you were at Syracuse, I kind of felt like there was this writing on the wall. You could kind of feel some things, and I remember filming the offensive line in practice, and you were there, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I kind of thought Enrique would go because I kind of felt like there was some shifts, some tectonic plates moving, and then you decided to go a little bit after that, but I was surprised that maybe the decision wasn't made. Bring me through the process. Like, did you think about making the decision to transfer before you did it? How long of a process was it? Because I kind of felt at one point you would go, and then you waited a little bit, and then you went after the fact.
Oh yeah, so definitely, Cuse was really like my second home. I love Cuse. I loved everything about Cuse. I love the city. I love the people there. I love the school. So it was really a hard choice. I didn't really just want to just leave.
Yeah.
I wanted to at least try to fight for my spot back. I didn't just want to just be one of those kids who just left because stuff happened and they just quit. No, I just wanted to just feel the need that I had to just fight for the spot and then just if it didn't happen then end up doing what was best for me in my career. But I just really felt like I needed to just give it one more shot before I just left.
Yeah, I mean, you were willing to go to all different parts of the line. We look back in your time at Syracuse and in 2021, obviously that's a redshirt year. You come in 2022, you appear in 8 games, 5 starts, 3 starts at right tackle, 2 starts at left tackle. In 2023, started every game at left tackle. 2024, you were in 3 games and playing 35 offensive snaps, and you're helping out wherever they needed you to be. So, I mean, we've seen you go to 2 different sides of the line. We've seen you be willing to really go anywhere. Just bring me into that. The fact that you were never that guy that was just kind of stuck in saying, like, I have to be this, I have to play this position. There was no ego that I ever sensed from you. It was like, I'll go where you need me. I'll shift where I need to shift. I just want to get on the field and help my team.
Yeah, that was kind of like my mindset. I was more so I just wanted to be let's say the best ability is availability, but I just wanted to be I really wanted to play. Like, that was really my main goal. That was really, really why I transferred. I wanted to play. So I was really just also I'm just a team player, so I don't really carry that ego with me. Like wherever they need me to play, I'll play. So like that's really what it was.
So when you look back on that, like how difficult was that decision for you when you sat down with your family and you had gone through some because it was after spring ball, right? That you had gone through
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
so you go through the spring with the team and you make that decision. Did you ever look back on it and say like, you know, I wish I made the decision the previous season, in December, January. I wish, I didn't go through the spring, or were you happy that you went through the spring?
I mean, you can always look back and think about stuff like that. But honestly, just the memories that I have with the people that I was with. I mean, I didn't really regret none of it. I feel like it worked out perfectly in my favor. When I took the leap of faith to enter the transfer portal and thankfully went to Kansas. But it definitely was a hard decision, and it wasn't really. It was a decision I had to make for my career personally. But there's emotions put into it. Just that's the people that I'm leaving. The close friends that I met throughout the years. The Syracuse tailgate. It was definitely a lot going into the decision, but I feel like I had to make the best decision for my career.
And you make that decision, and, ultimately you choose to leave after spring ball. Bring me through spring practice. You said, I wanted to fight one more time for my job. I wanted to fight to get on the field at Syracuse. What did you learn from that moment, from that experience, being with your teammates for a few more months instead of leaving in January, jumping in the portal, the fact that you were there through the spring? What did you get from that spring ball, those last few weeks, couple months with your team at Syracuse?
Personally, or like what did I get like from the team?
Just personally and from the team itself. Just
Oh,
overall, like hindsight 2020, why were you happy you spent that time?
well, just because I just feel like I just didn't want to
Yeah.
just leave. I was on the team for 4 years. I was at Syracuse. I've seen the most growth in my life at Syracuse. From just being there, first time leaving home. Just a lot of growth I've seen at Syracuse, and I didn't just want to leave just because I was put in a bad position. I wanted to fight to make that to make everything right. You know what I mean? Not just quit. I just wanted to keep on going just to prove myself right. And it ended up being that I just kind of got phased out of there, and that's perfectly fine. So
When you went through and you ultimately made the decision, we learn I think you learn a lot quicker, which could be a good thing, but also, it can be tough too, is that you would go to college, and college is this bridge between I'm not in the real world, I'm with my parents, and then you go into the real world after college. But college is a bridge where you get a feel for the real world, but you're not thrown into it completely. With NIL and the transfer portal and all this stuff going on now, I feel like you learn about the business side of it a lot faster. So when you made the decision of like, hey, I'm going to go in the portal, I'm going to go back into recruitment, I'm going to do this. How much time did you spend with your family? Did you spend with mom and your stepdad and your little brother and whoever's in that room? How much time did you spend kind of figuring this out? How quick of a decision was it for you once spring ball ended that you said like, hey, I think this is going to be my best step, is to go back and put myself in the recruiting world again?
it definitely wasn't a quick decision. It was more so like it took me a couple of days. I really had to make the decision right before the first day of the portal opened. So like it definitely wasn't a quick decision. It was a hard decision, but I definitely had a lot of talks to a lot of people, not just my family, my friends, and they all really helped me out a lot.
So you make that decision, you go back into being recruited. What was the portal like? I always love to get everyone's perspective from that personal experience. How did you experience the portal?
The portal was exactly how I remembered it. Very hectic. You're getting phone calls left and right, no matter the time of day. My fault.
No,
And you're getting phone calls all throughout the day, and you never know who's calling you because you don't have their number saved yet. There's a million different schools, and you got to answer the phone calls, and you got to be on the phone for like 2 3 hours sometimes. And it's exactly how I
yeah.
remembered it. Just a little bit more hectic, just because you got to make the decision a lot quicker.
when the portal opened, and like you said, you're getting all these phone calls, and you don't know who's calling you or what school or whatnot. How did you try to be organized through it? Did you talk to a ton of schools? Did how did you decide to tackle it? Like you said, you're doing it all hours of the day. So how did you find a way to kind of have a healthy portal experience? How did you maybe take a disorganized, kind of chaotic time and organize it a little bit for yourself?
So that's a great question. I don't really think I did too well with doing that. It was definitely very unorganized. I was just answering phone calls, answering texts left and right. I didn't really have a good method on how to control it.
So when you reflect on it, you ended up at Kansas, but who did you hear from? Were you getting a lot of the autonomy group, the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC? Were you getting calls from, other FBS conferences like the American or the Sun Belt? Like who were the calls coming from?
Honestly, I was getting calls from just about everywhere. A lot of ACC schools, Big 12 schools, I had a couple of SEC schools as well calling me.
So how did you make the decision on Kansas? I mean, how could, like you said, it's so hectic. Everybody's calling you up, and by the grace of God for you, you were getting a lot of phone calls. You weren't sitting and waiting. It was more of answering and trying to figure out what was going on and have some, way of navigating through it all. So God bless you that you got the phone calls. How did you narrow it down? How did you work through this when you're hearing from so many places? How did you kind of find a path to say, like, this is what I'm looking for, these are my pillars, this is what I need to hear? Like, with so many people getting in touch with you from so many different schools and conferences, how did you narrow everything down?
So I basically I did my research on the schools, and I did research on where they were, how they were doing, and just different things like that. It was already over there. Who would I be competing against? And I just feel like I took a visit to Kansas, and I just feel like Kansas really had everything I wanted, such as like they had a really good facility. All the coaches were the strength staff was really good, and Coach A, we had a really good conversation, and he told me like. He basically just we had a good conversation, and we talked about his experience as a coach, and it's basically everything that he teaches, and I really liked what he was doing over there, so I really just committed because I like Coach A a lot.
Yeah, and you talk about Coach A for the offensive line, Daryl Akpalsa, and so I mean, what is it about Coach A that spoke to you? Like you said, you just felt like you connected enough with him to commit. Why did Coach A, what was it about him, his message, what he was looking for, his leadership that just made you feel like, hey, this is the right guy?
Well, it was him, and it was also Coach Satterwhite, Jackson Satterwhite. That was my boy.
Okay.
They were both in the room with me, and we were just talking. And honestly, Coach A, he's a very personal coach. So like he was a coach you could really build a good relationship with, but he'll also coach you hard. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna be soft on you. He's gonna yell at you when he got to and do everything like that. So I feel like I've had a lot of coaches in my career, so I knew what I liked and what I didn't like with coaches, and from the most part, from when I met him, when I was talking with him, I knew that would be a good fit over there.
So, how was your intent going through the transfer portal? Was it, I'm going to stay in the autonomy group, like I'm going to stay within the ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12? I mean, how did you work through that? I know you said you took a visit to Kansas, but when you were narrowing schools down, how were you doing it? Were you doing it by like, I'm already in the ACC, I want to make sure I stay in the autonomy or did it not matter? Was it, hey, I want to make sure I go south, I've had enough of the winter? I mean, how are you looking at it?
Oh, honestly, I was really looking at it as like, where am I going to have the best possibility of playing at? I just felt like I just wanted to play. Like nothing else really mattered to me but playing. To be honest, it's really all I wanted to do. So I just really felt like, where am I going to have the best opportunity to get a shot at to play?
And when you had those conversations with Coach A, what made you believe that Kansas was the place that was going to give you the best shot to get on the field?
Because well, at the end of the day, it's always competition. And he told me like, it's not gonna get handed to you. You just gotta come here and you gotta work hard. That, and that's me. That's me. That's what I like to do. I like to go. I like to work hard. I like to prove myself. So, him telling me that, and he also like a lot of schools are like, yo, you can come here and be like a day one starter. Like we're not gonna push you. Like I like the competitive nature. I feel like the competitive nature pushes everybody to be better. So he just kept it a buck with me. He was being real honest with me. A lot of coaches weren't really being as truthful with me as he was. So I really just liked how honest he was.
How do you figure that out? The first time you got recruited, you're a high school kid. Second time you get recruited, I would imagine you've gained some wisdom, knowledge, experience. How did you implement what you learned the first time around to understand when someone's telling you something and it's real, or telling you something just because they think you want to hear it?
Well, because Coach A wasn't telling me what I wanted to hear. He was real truthful with me. He wasn't just telling me everything I wanted to hear, like everything I ever dreamed of. He was being honest with me, even though like even if it wasn't what I wanted to hear at the moment. You know what I mean? He was just being real honest, and you could just tell that from Jump Street.
You said some places in the transfer portal, some schools told you like, hey, you're a day one starter. You said you like the opportunity, obviously, to play, but you like the competition. So did that turn you off if a school said to you, hey, if you commit to us, we're automatically putting you in even before seeing you on the practice field?
Yeah, I want to say like turned me off, but it kind of like really didn't really make any sense to me because a lot of people sell dreams. That's I like that's what I've learned throughout all of this stuff is that people sell dreams. So it's like I feel like a lot of teams are kind of trying to sell me a dream, and I just wanted an opportunity to prove myself and to play, and that's what I got at Kansas.
So you thought Coach A kept it a buck with you. The head coach, Coach Leopold, what is it about him that made you feel like, okay, this is the right coach for me? This is the head man. This is the guy that's leading the Kansas Jayhawks through everything. What was it about Lance that made you feel like, okay, the guy at the top of this thing is the right guy for me to have lead my next chapter?
Now, Coach Leopold, he's legit. Coach Leopold is probably one of my favorite coaches. When I first went on a visit there, he had drip, he had swag. He put up an all red Adidas suit. I was like, okay, Coach. But nah, I really enjoyed my time with Coach Leopold, and I think he's a really good players coach, and he understands the players a lot and understands our needs. So I feel like he was really good for us.
You said Coach Leopold understands the players, understands their needs. How did you see that?
Just basically with how he had basically like how practice was set up and or like different things. Like he always looked out for us, and he always has the player's best interest in mind whenever he's making any decision. And he really did prove that to us during like team meetings when he would tell us different situations or like practices or like different things like that. He really rides for his players.
So here with Enrique Cruz Jr. in this special wake-up call spotlight on Enrique as he goes from Syracuse to Kansas this past season in 2025 via the transfer portal and is now heading to the NFL Combine and then heading to the NFL Draft here in 2026. You hail from Willowbrook High School. I feel like this is something, as we're talking about coaches, that we should mention the fact that you played offensive line for 4 years for head coach Nick Hildreth, and we go back to Coach Hildreth as well as your days at Willowbrook. What do you remember from that time? And now that you've finished up your collegiate days, what is it from his teaching and from your time at Willowbrook that you feel has helped you become the player that you are?
Honestly, the time at Willowbrook was amazing. I learned a lot that time. That was my first time ever playing football. So, I had a lot of growing to do, not even just as a player, but at that time as a boy, because I wasn't a man yet. But I had a lot of time of growing to do, such as learning accountability, the details and everything like that. But we always like taught like just grit, just like finish the play. And I feel like that a lot of the way I play the game really is a lot of the teachings that I learned at Willowbrook. Just grit, just hustle, grit, and just keep on going. You know what I mean? Because we were always the underdogs. We were never like like number ones. We were always the underdogs. We had a group of underdogs who just wanted to strive together and just win games, and that's what we did.
So you talk about Kansas keeping it a buck with you. You thought Coach A had a lot to do with that. You believed in what they were teaching you or what they were saying to you, in the transfer portal. How did you narrow it down? Did you have other schools besides Kansas that you visited? How did you eventually make the choice? Like, was there a few teams in the running?
There was a few teams in the running, but I committed on spot. Right as soon as I visited, I committed.
Who were the other teams that were there in the? You could say it now because you finished up your time. Who were the other teams?
I was gonna go on a visit to K State. I was going to visit to Duke, and I think it was Georgia Tech in Nevada.
Okay. So you had all these visits that you were going to take. You went to Kansas first and you committed on the spot.
Yep.
So hindsight 2020, what do you think about that decision?
I think it's one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I feel like Kansas kind of revived me as a player, revived my career, and it's the most fun I've ever had playing football since high school.
If you had played for Georgia Tech, I think you would have had the chance to go up against Syracuse this year.
Yeah, Duke too.
And oh yeah, that's right. You would have had Duke as well. So do you ever think back on like what it would have been like to be on the other side of the orange?
Yeah, but like I don't want no vengeance against me. At the end of the day, I loved my time at Syracuse, and I respect all the coaches there, and some of my best friends are still on the team. So going into the portal, it wasn't about getting back at Syracuse. It was more so just to get me back on track and be the best player I could be.
How did you know? You know, when you look back on this, because people ask that, how did I know? Like, how did you know when to start your company? How did you know you wanted to start your company? How did you know how to get started? So in the same vein, I would say to you, how did you know? I've been out there. I've been on the field. I played left tackle. I played right tackle. I've started games at Syracuse. I worked here through the spring. I can either keep working here or I can go somewhere else. How did you just know it's my time to leave? I've done what I could. I'm not quitting. I'm not running. I just feel like this chapter, because people talk about it all the time, like, how do you know one chapter's over and another chapter's beginning? And you got to try. You and I talk about faith. We talk about God. We talk about family. Did you pray on it? How did you go through this? How did you know for yourself this is the right decision to make? Because that's something that people always ask is, what is it that happened or you heard or you felt that just let you know that it was time? Because when you know is what people always say, but how did you know?
So I mean at the moment genuinely just didn't know. Like I didn't know at all, to be honest with you. I mean, I had everybody telling me like you should do it, you should do this, that, and the third. I didn't know. I honestly didn't really want to leave, but then I just felt like that I wasn't getting the fair opportunity that I wanted. So I just had to just take. I always say I just had to take a leap of faith, right? But in hindsight, I was already going to be a grad transfer. I got everything that Syracuse could have offered me, and I got a degree from Syracuse University, and I was there for 4 years. I started a couple of years, I played a couple of years, and now we got a new coaching staff, and stuff's starting to look a little different. So, in hindsight, I mean, after I got the degree, it really was when I didn't know, because that's all I ever wanted was a degree. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't really, not just because I wanted to play ball, also not just because I wanted to prove myself, but I also did want to get the piece of paper. I didn't want to mess that up.
Well, and we rarely ever hear the student and student athlete anymore. Why was it so important for you to get a degree in school? There's guys that joke about the fact they're in school for 5 years and don't even have a bachelor's degree. So why was it important for you to get a degree from Syracuse University, to get a degree in general? Why was that something that you're like, hey, no matter what I do with the next chapter, I want to make sure that I have a college degree, that it's not just about football?
Well, I mean, I didn't come into college with the whole NIL, like how big NIL is now. So I was always thinking, my mindset always was, I want to go to the league, I want to go to the NFL, but I also want that piece of paper, just more so of a personal growth, a personal growth, just walking across that stage, see my family proud of me, and just feeling accomplished because I got the degree. So it was really it wasn't. I understand like the whole new wave now with the NIL and stuff like that, but maybe my mindset would be different if I came to college a little later and I seen what was coming out, like what was going on. But I didn't, and the degree was always a priority for me.
So you got the degree, you go to Kansas, you have this 2025 season. What was life like in the Big 12? You played in the ACC, you know the talent of the ACC. You've also played in the Big 12, you know the talent of the Big 12. You went up against the West Virginias, Cincinnati, UCF. You went up against Texas Tech, who made it to the college football playoff. You went up against Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Iowa State, who was ranked this season, Utah, who was ranked this season. So having those experiences within the Big 12, and you also went up against Missouri of the SEC in non-conference play, what can you say about Big 12 competition, and how would you look at Big 12 competition versus ACC competition?
Man, the Big 12, man, the Big 12 is it's such a fun conference to play in. It's all the games are going to be shootouts. Like anybody come in and play. Like it's not too top heavy. You don't have the guys who are just on the top looking down at everybody. Eh, Anybody come in and play with anybody in the Big 12. I feel like it's just a very fun league to play in, and a lot of the games are just shootouts.
Similarities, differences between Big 12 and the ACC?
Um, no, I haven't really thought about it really too much. I kind of once I left Syracuse, kind of stopped thinking about the ACC.
So you had the opportunity to play at Kansas. What do you want to say to the coaching staff, to the fan base? You were a Jayhawk for a season, but you're a Jayhawk forever. What do you want the Kansas Jayhawk staff, your fellow teammates, as well as the Jayhawk fan base to know?
Man, I want to say thank y'all. I really do. I really do appreciate y'all. For all the support y'all giving us throughout the season, and just thank you, Kansas, for taking a chance on me.
Did you alter the name but keep the Cruz tailgates in Kansas is the big question.
No, no, the Syracuse is Syracuse forever. Shout out Syracuse tailgate. I couldn't do that.
So, but mom's still making the sangria though.
No, yeah, for parties though, not for the tailgates. That's only a Syracuse thing.
So Enrique Cruz Jr. here with us. You get an invite recently to the NFL Scouting Combine here in 2026. Of all the offensive linemen in the nation, very few. Every position, very few get in. It doesn't matter who we look at. There could be 500 O linemen and you got a tiny fraction. There's a ton of quarterbacks, you get just a few. When you get an invite to the NFL Scouting Combine, that in and of itself, before the NFL draft, before being in the NFL, it's saying something about your work, your dedication, your craft, your consistency. Just to get an invite to the NFL Scouting Combine, almost nobody gets that. It is such a tiny percentage of the country. Why do you feel like you got an invite?
Man, I just feel like my hard work is finally paying off. It's been a long journey, man. It's been a long journey. It's not been an easy journey, and it's been a lot of long nights. And I just I'm just grateful to God that I get the opportunity to showcase my skills at the combine.
How did you find out you got the invite? Bring me into the moment.
I was actually getting ready for the game at the American Bowl. We were eating our pregame dinner, and my mom she got my emails because I don't really be. My problem is I don't have a hard time, but responding to text messages, emails isn't really my best ability.
Wait a minute, you got a hard time responding to text message? No, come on, man. I
It's
know
not
that
really.
I'd reach out to Jay and I'd be like, man, I'm reaching out to Kiko. I haven't heard from him. So you got right back to me this time, though.
Yeah, I'm more of a phone call type of guy, but
Yeah.
it's just it's not my best ability. It's something I got to work on. But she called me and she's like, "Is this real?" And I look at my email. I'm like, I start freaking out. I'm like, "What? This is crazy." I was like, "Wow."
So you find out from your mom. How did you celebrate that moment with her? And this is the thing with the Syracuse tailgates, Enrique's family was there and just, I mean, an amazing family. And I have Hispanic blood, but when I was around this family, I felt like I was Puerto Rican. Like, I mean, it just, when they don't bring everybody, like this is the thing. When you bring in people like you open your doors, but you see who people are. And when you get brought into the family, that means something. It holds weight. It doesn't change when Enrique goes from Syracuse to Kansas. That doesn't go away. The love stays. I gotta say though, man, like your mom and your TTs, like your aunts and all that, the whole family, when you go in there, grandma, who, like the music, the food, the sangria, the hospitality, like I would have rather Syracuse play the game outside with the Syracuse tailgate. So what can you say about experiencing family and how your family really did find a way, and Isaac and I can speak to this, where you were automatically brought in. It brought me back to when I dated a girl back in the day who's Puerto Rican, and we were down in Long Beach, Long Island, and I just remember them having parties outside. They got a backyard that can fit 13 people. They put 2 tents up, and we got 57 people in the backyard, and we still got space. It was like when God had the couple loaves of bread and a fish or two, and he fed everybody. That was like going outside. You're like, how are we going to do a party back here? And then 3 hours into the party, you're looking around you going like, we could fit like 200 more people back here. So what's it like to be Puerto Rican, to be with this family, and to experience that your family made it from Chicago, Illinois, wherever they were coming from, they always showed up?
No, I mean, first of all, being Puerto Rican is it's just amazing. I would not want to be nothing else but Puerto Rican. We're very prideful people. We're family oriented. We love that little island. We love that flag. We always rep whenever we can. We always rep. I mean, if you go back to my earlier Syracuse posts, I always got the flag with me. I'm at media day with the flag, waving it. You know what I mean? So being Puerto Rican is just amazing. The food's amazing. All of it is, and my family, we grew up very family oriented, and that's really thanks to my grandma. She was always like trying to get the family together, everybody, family parties. She was always getting everybody together. So, I also grew up with my grandma. We all grew up in the same house. So it was me, her, my aunties, Dealey and Jazzy, my mom, my grandpa, and my little brother. So we grew up together, we're really like siblings. And, also shout out to my dad's side too, because they always come on, they always support too. It's always the same love. It's just amazing. I'm super appreciative, and I'm super happy that I have a family that supports me so much, and they're willing to come and support me no matter what happens. It's just it's really amazing.
Yeah, and it's such a it was a wonderful experience. It continues to be a wonderful experience, and and I miss it. When I thought about that, I was like, my VP isn't going to be here all the time, and then after thinking about you, I was like, I'm not going to see the family. I'm not going to have a place to go on the way to the dome. We broke bread and had dinner downtown, your mom, your stepdad, and I. And your little brother, man, what's he doing now? Is he what is he, 6'9" now, 350? What's little, when I met your little brother, he was your little brother. Then he, within 2 years, became himself times 2. And I'm like, there's no way that this kid wasn't put in a lab. So what's little bro look like now? What's life going on for him, and how's he doing?
Now Liam's be the next big recruit out of Illinois. I think that he's got to keep on stay on track, keep on putting in the hard work that he's been doing. Right now he's 6'3", 300 pounds. I mean, he's a big boy. But right now he's playing football, he's doing basketball, and he's doing track, and he's killing in all those sports. So I feel like he's the next one to come out.
300 pounds and running track. That's going to be a
lethal. He's still a shot player. He can't run.
So be honest with me about Liam. We know how hard you work. You're going to the scouting combine. You prognosticate your brother. Is he also going to be invited to the combine in his college days?
Yes, hopefully. I try my best to guide Liam in the right direction. I try to show him how hard you got to work into this, and he's always been accepting of that, and he's always been trying to learn more from me, and everything. He'll come, he'll ask me questions about football. He'll ask me about different workouts to do, different diets, or different things to try. So I firmly believe he will be the next one up coming out of Illinois.
We know that you'll have the opportunity to speak with NFL scouts when you're at the NFL scouting combine, so you'll be able to get in front of NFL teams. Have you had any opportunities since you finished up at Kansas to already be around NFL teams or scouts? Have you gotten to have any conversations with anybody?
Yeah, at the American Bowl, there was a lot of scouts over there.
So kind of ballpark it for me. How many NFL teams did you end up talking to at the American Bowl?
About 30.
About of the 32.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the two you didn't talk to?
No, not off the top of my head.
So, you talked to almost every NFL franchise. What did you hear? What were they saying to you? What are some takeaways that you had?
I mean, they were saying how they liked the way I was practicing out there. They're complimenting me, and they're just telling me that like they see all the hard work that I put in, like the passion I play with when I'm on the field.
So, you've played left tackle. You played right tackle. I spoke with Sean Hickey years ago that played at Syracuse, where he started at right tackle. Somebody got injured. He had to shift to left tackle. Then he shifted back to right tackle. And I asked him about, is it hard to do? Because I said, being a tackle is being a tackle, but you're either toward the left or toward the right. And he talked to me about standing in front of the mirror and watching himself in the mirror and like practicing when he has to go this way or he's got to go and to the point where he could be interchangeable. Left tackle, right tackle for you. Do you feel like you can shift your body in both ways? Can you play both? Are you more comfortable on one side than the other? Bring me into it, because there is something to the technique. You can't just make a left tackle a right tackle. You have to essentially do everything you're doing the opposite way. You got to flip it. I mean, you got to shoot your hands. You have to have good footwork. There's things that are the same. But he talked to me about like looking in the mirror and looking at your body when he had to go between the two. So how would you describe left tackle, right tackle as far as what you did to know your technique and be comfortable? And do you have a side that you prefer?
Yeah, so I started at right tackle this year, but towards the middle of the season, I was taking reps at left tackle in games, and I came in as a left tackle, so like left tackle was always like my bread and butter until I played a whole season at right tackle, so it kind of switched because you get more used to the opposite side, the more you play. But I could definitely do both. I've done it in game, and I feel comfortable doing both. But I'll probably say, yeah. I mean, I like doing both for real. I can do both.
Do you feel like you have to train your body to like shift to that one? Like when you're switching, do you feel like do you have to do anything when you're being asked to go?
Yeah, so it's more of a mental thing.
Yeah.
I'd say like because yeah, so like you are switching sides and you are going to a side that you don't really practice on, so there might be little minor things, right? So at that point it becomes more of like a toughness and an effort thing. But the mental side of things is like when you hear a play, right, and you're on one side for so long, you hear a play, it's like, okay, I know what to do because I've been at right tackle this whole time, and I don't really need to hold. I can hear the play call and then not think about what to do. While when you switch sides, you got to actually think about what to do a little bit more, just because you're on the opposite side now. So your muscle memory might mess you up and you might go the wrong way, but it's more so like a mental thing, just a little bit more thinking that goes involved in it.
Guarding the blind side versus not. What can you say to that effect of it? Of typically a quarterback is right-handed, so if you're the left tackle, you're their blind side. Playing right tackle for a right-handed quarterback, you're still blocking for them, but you're now on their throwing side. Do you feel any difference in there?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like a little bit more pressure, you could say, on the left side, just because you don't want to get your boy killed, out there, because it's the blind side. Sometimes you can't see, but no, you really don't really notice a difference out there. You just gotta go out there and play.
So we're heading to the scouting combine. This is a huge moment for you. Like I said, historically, you don't have a lot of players that get to say that they have this invitation. There's different things. Like you said, you went to the American Bowl and you spoke with almost every NFL team. There's the Hula Bowl. There's the Senior Bowl. There are opportunities. The scouting combine, you're spending days. You have your interviews that are going on. You have all the different things that you're doing as far as showing them your technique, your speed, your strength. To be a part of this, did you ever think growing up, like, I'm going to be at the scouting combine. I'm going to be one of those few offensive linemen that when we're going 7 rounds in the draft in 2026 in just a few months, I'm one of those, 40, 50 guys that can say that I was physically here with all 32 teams and I was in like the pinnacle of where all the scouts show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So I started playing football in high school, and it just was it was more so like something to just do, like to kill time and have fun with it, and it ended up developing something so much bigger in my life, and it's like, just football ended up just like kind of saving me in a way, just putting me in a lot of places that I never thought I'd be in, just putting me in positions that I never thought I'd be in, and just it's really helping me out, and I could really only just thank God, for this opportunity that He's given me throughout the way, along the way, and everything. Because I never really thought it would come like it would ever get this far. I'm
Yeah.
just so grateful for the opportunity, and I know I put a lot of hard work in and dedication for it and stuff like that. But just a year ago, I was just I was barely playing. I was at Syracuse, and I was kind of down and out. But it's just another just really thankful that I took the leap of faith and I'm now able to do things like this.
You bet on yourself. You trusted in God. You trusted in yourself. You put the work in. Why do you feel like this one season at Kansas has shown the NFL that you should be at the combine? What happened at Kansas here in the 2025-26 season that you felt has now catapulted you into being one of the few linemen that gets to showcase themselves at the combine?
Because I would say like Kansas kind of revived me as a player and just revived my career because it's the most fun I've had playing football in a while. It was kind of like the back then in high school playing high school football. I was out there just enjoying life, having fun, and just playing well. I feel like this season at Kansas really showcased my skills and not in the best way possible and showcased a lot of different things that I could do. And I was just out there enjoying every moment of it.
We know you got to run the 40-yard dash. Do you think you're faster than Liam?
I could be Liam running sideways.
Okay, agree. Enrique Cruz Jr. And Enrique, before we get in here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, before we get into rapid fire, we're going to ask each other some questions back and forth here and have some fun with it. NFL teams, you've talked with almost every single one of them. You're going to have the opportunity to talk with hopefully all 32 of them at the Combine. And of course, you'll have Pro Day at Kansas as well. A lot of opportunities for you to get in front of NFL teams, and you've already done it, which is absolutely a blessing from God. What do you want the NFL to know? General managers, scouts watching you right now, watching this interview. You're in front of them. You got an elevator pitch for Enrique Cruz. Why do I take you in the NFL draft?
Because I'm a team player. I'm gonna work hard every rep. Like I was telling people over there, I was like, I'm Dennis Rodman to somebody's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do all the hard stuff, and I'm gonna love doing it. I'm gonna fight for that rebound. I'm gonna to keep the play, get the play started. I might be in a bad position, but I'm gonna keep on fighting. I'm gonna run to the ball. Interception gets thrown. I'm gonna get that tackle. You know what I mean? I'm just an all out hustler on that field, and I play every play like it's my last.
Enrique Cruz Jr. betting on himself and seeing the positive results of when you bet on yourself and you have that faith. You talked about your faith in God. You and I have talked about it before. How has God led you in a way that helped you to get through things maybe you didn't think you could get through? How have you seen God show that He truly is in control, He's got you, and He has strength where you feel like maybe you don't have anything left? How has God shown you His presence throughout this entire journey that you've had in
Like,
football?
so like, man, like, I feel like He was always calling me. I've as of lately, I've been trying to get closer to God. I've been doing a lot of things, trying to get spiritually closer to God and things like that. But I feel like that throughout my whole life, He was always guiding and protecting me through my grandma's prayers and everything. I just feel like, I wouldn't be here without Him. In high school, I wasn't thinking like this. I was just having fun in high school, doing whatever. But then again, like it just with God and just opportunities that He's given me, that's kind of sometimes popped up out of nowhere that I didn't even never realized. He was just always there through the ups and the downs, and somebody I could just pray to whenever I needed it, or just pray in general.
You said through your grandmother's prayers. So you feel like grandma has, through her prayers and reaching out to God herself, she has helped you and God become closer?
Oh yeah, I feel like my grandma. How grandmas are. She's always praying for me. She's always like looking out for me, looking out for my best interest. So I just feel like during those times where I really didn't understand too much about it, I was always getting protected by her prayers.
What do you want to say to God?
Thank you. I thank him every night. It's just amazing all the opportunities that he has given me.
Enrique Cruz with long hair, Enrique Cruz with the short cut like you have right now. We've seen you go through both. You talked about being the Dennis Rodman to someone's Michael Jordan. Dennis Rodman had a lot of different hairstyles and different things that he did. How would you describe Enrique Cruz with long hair versus Enrique Cruz with the short cut like you have right now?
Man, Enrique Cruz with long hair, he was a different guy. I'm talking about the original long hair with the ponytail. He was a cool guy. He was different. Enrique Cruz, the shortcut just means business.
Okay. Business is what we're going after here with the NFL Combine and the NFL Draft, as well as Kansas's Pro Day coming up here in 2026 for this offensive lineman in the NFL Draft, Mr. Enrique Cruz Jr., who will make one of the 32 NFL franchises very happy in just a few months. Enrique, let's play some rapid fire as we've done before. We're going to have a few questions back and forth. Any topic, any question. You can ask me the first question, then I'll go and we'll go back and forth. What do you got?
All right, back over there in Q's. What's the new food spot? What's the new food spot that's fire over there?
Oh boy, man, I've been traveling for a while and out to the college football playoff, and I got spoiled in a lot of places. I got spoiled in Atlanta. I got spoiled. Dallas has had good food, and down in Miami.
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta right now. The food here is pretty well. It's pretty
So
good.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Downtown Atlanta, you got to go to a place in downtown Atlanta called Tin Lizzie's, and you got to get the chicken nachos. You got to get their Tin Lizzie nachos. They're called the TL nachos. Add chicken. Like hands down the best nachos I have ever had in my life that I haven't made.
Okay, I'm gonna go over there and try them.
Yeah, so Tin Lizzie. You know what? If I knew you were down in Atlanta, man, I would have flown down there just to eat at Tin Lizzie's with you. So, all right, I'll say the spot in Syracuse now. That's a good question. I mean, there's a bunch of spots that I love, but I'm going to try and pick something different. I'm going to say there's this food truck. So I got to work on a movie. There's a horror movie coming out hopefully this year around Halloween, and I got to be in this movie, which is nuts because I said I'd never be in a scary movie. And I love the staff and I love the director brothers, and I would literally work with any of those people again because I had such a good time and they treated me so well. But I mean, everybody, the prop people, everybody, everyone that worked with the extras, costume design. But I would say there was this spot. She has this food truck, and it's a play on words, and it's a play on like dropping the F-bomb but not dropping it. But she made these breakfast sandwiches, and they were like psychotically good. Like they and I was getting them at like nighttime. They were so addicting, and it was like on a croissant, and I love croissants, so I got to give them a shout out for sure. And it's called like I forget the exact name. I know I got her card somewhere, but hold on. I think I can figure this thing out. But it has but yeah, no, her breakfast sandwiches were so good, and it was some playoff of swearing, but it was really, I'll figure it out. My question back to you, Enrique. Since the last time I saw you, what has been your favorite memory with your family? Because I know I got to spend a lot of time around them. So in the past year, what's your favorite memory with your family?
Oh, in the past year,
Yeah.
we all went to Mexico. It was a good time over there. We all had a blast over there in Mexico. Everybody who went.
Okay. All right. Out in Mexico? All right. What's your next one for me?
Okay, so, yeah, all right, I got a good one.
Okay.
Have you had the steak at Dinosaur Barbecue?
Have I had the steak at Dinosaur Burger? I haven't.
That's a top three steak in Syracuse. Might be
Top
top one.
okay. The steak? I've had a bunch of different stuff over there, but I've never had the steak.
The steak at Dinosaur Barbecue
Okay.
is probably my favorite steak out there.
Okay. All right. The steak out there at Dinosaur Barbecue. Good to know. Why? Seasoning, cut, what was it?
They made it perfect. it was just an
How do
ideal
you do
steak.
it? Are you
Good.
medium, rare,
Medium.
medium? What are you
I
doing?
can't go lower than medium.
Okay, I'm same. I'll go medium or medium well. All right. My question back to you, since we're talking about food, I have my own sundae at Carvel DeWitt. There's a new one that's going to be released this year, and I'm very excited about it. And I can't say exactly what it is yet because we haven't released it, but I'm super excited about it. We've already taste tested it. So I got my own sundae at Carvel DeWitt. I have my own sandwich at Mother's Cupboard. If we were to make the Enrique Cruz special, what would it be?
Any food?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah. Well, it have to be a sandwich. It have to be like a sandwich spot. A pastrami sandwich, like Puerto Rican style pastrami sandwich. Like they season it with like ketchup and they season with like ketchup and mustard with like cinnamon on it. Oh, it's fire. A Puerto Rican style pastrami sandwich with the Puerto Rican bread. It's like really, 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 really soft bread. It's good.
Okay. Okay. All right. I respect it. What's your last question for me?
Okay. My last question is, how good is the service at Great Lakes Honda City?
Dude, it's awesome. I mean,
10 out of 10.
well, this is the thing. When they say you never know who's watching and you never know who you're dealing with. And I went out there and they had changed ownership. And I'd worked with them for like a decade with the prior ownership. And there was this guy in a suit that was on the other side of the street, and I saw him. And I mean, he was far enough away. Some people don't hold the door even if you're right behind them. I saw him walking in the rain, and I stood by the door and I waited for him and I held the door open, and then he came through. And then they were like, "Hey, we're going to introduce you to the new general manager of Great Lakes Honda City," and it was that guy. It was Elijah. It was Elijah Camara, who played in the MAC. Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played at Akron. So I had the opportunity to meet him that way. Really appreciate him and how our conversations, which are about God and about life. And he told me, he was like, "We look for people like you that do what you do. We like what you do. We like how you do it, what you stand for." And so it just means a lot to me that Elijah's looking into relationships and the deeper meaning. Mark Zaccaro has been awesome with me, been super supportive of my show. I remember one day I was talking to my cousin Ralph, who was there, and Mark like opened up the window in between the offices and he just put his hand out and he goes, "Hey, Danny, just wanted to shake your hand. I want to let you know I love your show." And I listened to it. Had no idea that he listened, didn't know who he was at the time. Malik has been...
Malik's my boy.
Yeah,
shout out Malik.
Yeah, Malik's been awesome. Got to celebrate him. He was a great running back at Beeville. So, having Malik on the show, that means a lot too. And just getting to see him and talk with him and all that. So, no, they've been great. And, a lot of people don't like going to dealerships because they feel like they can't trust anybody and everybody lies and nobody's looking out for you and you're just a number. And I've literally gone to the same place the entire time that I've ever had a vehicle. So I want to shout out Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, because that's the only place I go to, and it's because of the people. Everything I do has to do with the people. The only reason why I'm talking to Enrique right now is I didn't care where he played. I care about the person he is, how he's treated me, and the fact that when I call, he picks up. So, that's people means everything to me, and that's why I told you I'm going to support you no matter where you go, because when you're family, you're family.
Yes, sir.
My last question for you. If you took me to Puerto Rico on the next family trip, where would we go?
We got to go visit my stepdad, Jay. We got to go visit his mom in the mountains.
Okay.
We got to go all the way. She lives all the way on top of the mountain. If you've never been over there, you will see it's a whole different lifestyle up there, man. It's so different.
Yeah. So what did you like when you went up and visited her at the top of the mountain? What do you remember?
It was crazy. It was just a whole different lifestyle. It wasn't Chicago no more.
Yeah, and it's funny because like when you and the funny thing about Puerto Rico is it's the first time in my life that I thought in Spanish and had to translate it to English when I talked to my parents. I don't know if it was like to me a survival thing. But when we got there, I was like, okay, I have to know my Spanish because I want to be able to talk here. And like, there were certain people that didn't speak any English, and my parents were trying to ask questions and they didn't know Spanish. And so I said it was the first time in my life where the words in my head were in Spanish and I was translating them back to English instead of the other way around. So that was a lot of fun. And I've actually been speaking a lot more Spanish and trying to really push that as my second language. So I definitely would like going down there, speaking the language, being around it. And, you know, the sights are beautiful. There's a lot to see down there. There's lizards that are way too big down there, look like little mini dinosaurs and stuff. And I definitely got to find some food spots. You told me to get the pastrami sandwich, so I never
Yeah, I
got
hit
that
up
down
Jay.
there.
He knows.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I hit up Jay. He knows all the food spots over there.
Fair enough. Well, shout out to Jay, shout out to Vanessa, shout out to the whole family, shout out to Liam doing his thing. And I look forward, Liam, to you showing me how fast you can run since your brother said he can beat you sideways. You'll see this man running direct when he is at the scouting combine in 2026. You'll get to see him as one of just a few offensive linemen in the entire world that gets to be there. And then you'll see him in the 2026 NFL draft, and you'll see him on an NFL roster very soon. For the Syracuse Orange and Kansas Jayhawk, who hails from Chicago, Illinois, Mr. Enrique Cruz Jr., my vice president. You know I love you. You know I love the family, and I'm always happy to talk with you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. My pleasure. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, and you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location, and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Samantha Jaros is here with us, and coming in to the live broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here with us in this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom, of course, in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. And we have student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Samantha, from the women's tennis team here in the 2025-26 season. Sam, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How's your morning going? Are you in 2 feet of snow down in Binghamton, or how are you doing down in Binghamton?
Yes, we got so much snow these past few days. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been nicely insane. They said, I just talked to someone from Charlotte, and they said they don't know how to ice the roads. They have no preparation for the plows or the snow. They said they need to educate by sending people up to upstate New York. I think that that's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I know that you hail from the state of New York. Let everybody know what part of New York you're from.
So I'm from Poughkeepsie, New York. So it's like 2.5 hours from here. It's not too bad. Um, no one really actually knows where that is. A lot of people are like, where is that? But it's like 2.5 hours towards West Point kind of area.
Yeah, it's funny. I know Poughkeepsie for a couple reasons. One, because when you're an upstate New Yorker, you get to know a lot of places, but also there was somebody that I went to college with, and I believe he was from there. And there's something about, this stuff kind of freaks me out, but there was a haunting, I guess, a while back in Poughkeepsie, New York, and they weren't gonna. There was something about like. There was never anything that came out about it. Then they found the tapes. Then they went to air the movie. They put a trailer out for the movie. Then the movie never came out. So there's like this really weird thing around Poughkeepsie. Do you know any of that stuff?
No, I never heard that actually.
Yeah, it's very wild and freaky because not only did they kind of like freak you out with the preview, but the movie, there was something about like they weren't going to let these tapes out. And then they didn't let the movie happen after they said the movie was going to happen. And it was about Poughkeepsie.
Oh my goodness.
So what is your favorite part of Poughkeepsie? For those that don't know, I want to talk hometown a little bit here. So favorite thing to eat, favorite thing to do. If you were home right now, what's happening in Poughkeepsie?
Okay, so actually I'm like not exactly in Poughkeepsie. I'm in Marlborough, which is right near Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
And I just normally say Poughkeepsie because everyone just says like knows what's going on there. But my favorite place to eat around me is Hudson Taco.
Okay.
It's my favorite place for sure. Hands down, Hudson Taco. And so that's like actually in Newburgh by the waterfront. And then my favorite thing to do is go to the mall, which actually is in Poughkeepsie, and then go to play tennis, which is in New Windsor. And that's pretty much all there is to do around me, honestly.
So you spoke about the taco place. What's so good about it and what's the go-to meal?
So the favorite thing I like to get there is like kind of a poke bowl, because I really love stuff like that. And there's just a really nice view of the water, and all my friends live super close to there, so we always like to go and meet up there. And they have good music there, and it's just the best kind of vibe to go for.
All right. And you said if you were home, you would be playing tennis in New Windsor anyway. So is there ever a time where you get sick of it, where you're just like, you know what, I got to take a little break from tennis, I got to step away? Is there ever a moment of that, or do you always find yourself back on the court?
You know, there's times where I definitely feel like I need a break, and then when I do take a break, I end up really missing it and wanting to get right back into it and feeling really lazy maybe when I don't play. So I do definitely play a lot, and I don't really get too tired of it.
Yeah, that's how you know you love it, when you try to step away and then you want to go back immediately. So when was that kind of first moment of falling in love with the sport? When did that happen for you? Can you go back to a time in your history where you just felt like, wow, this tennis thing isn't just for leisure. I think I really want to do this thing.
So, probably about fifth grade, I started to play tennis, which is kind of late for tennis. If you want to go and play college tennis, a lot of people start really early. I started in fifth grade, so I don't know, what's that, like 10? And my brother actually played tennis, so he got me into it. Before tennis, I was a swimmer. So, and my parents told me I had to pick a sport. So I picked tennis because I didn't really like having wet hair in the winter and stuff. So I picked tennis, and my brother would go play with me a lot. And then I started liking it, and then they signed me up for clinics and stuff like that. So around fifth grade.
I think that's awesome that you said you were a swimmer and it was between swimming and tennis and you don't like wet hair in the winter. So that's what did it for you. That was it. It was like, that's enough for me.
Yeah, that was it, really. It was just annoying to have to change out of wet clothes in the winter and stuff.
So do you miss it? Do you miss swimming? I mean, there's a swim team that's been very successful at Binghamton. Do you ever find yourself sneaking over to the pool or no?
Actually, my roommates freshman year were on the swim team, so
Okay.
I would, live through them.
Okay.
But I don't miss it at all. I really do love tennis, and I'm happy that I chose tennis.
So you chose tennis, but you also chose Binghamton. So why the Binghamton Bearcats? What was it about Binghamton University that kind of called out to you and you felt like that was the right place?
So, I am studying actuarial science, and a lot of schools don't have that program, and Binghamton does. And also, a lot of my family went to Binghamton, and they all loved it, and my cousins and stuff, and they recommended it. And so I looked into it. I looked at the team, and I was talking with the coach, and I just thought it was the right fit. It was like the perfect distance for me. I didn't want anything too far, but I didn't want to have to live at home. So I thought Binghamton was the best choice overall.
You said you had a bunch of family that's already gone to Binghamton. So what is that like to be in the lineage of family members that know the area, know the place, they're Bearcats? I mean, is that something prideful for you and the family?
So my family is actually from Poland, and
Okay.
I am the first generation here, like to go to college. But
Your cousins, yeah.
my cousins go to Binghamton, and I've had like three different cousins that go, and
Okay.
they all are older, and they told me that it's really fun and it's a good school, and they love the area here. So we are proud, I guess.
So your cousins sold you a little bit. What they told you about Binghamton, did it come through? Do you feel like their word was true?
Yeah, but they left out that it is a little colder over here, definitely. But I do really enjoy Binghamton.
You talked about your family being from Poland. So in your direct line, you said you're the first to go to college from your family here in the States. So
Mhm.
what has that experience been like representing your family in such a unique way?
Yeah, it's been super nice. They're very proud of me. My brother too, of course, he's 10 years older than me, so he beat me to it. But
Okay.
they're very proud of us, and my brother has helped me figure out a lot of stuff. My parents have helped me figure out a lot of stuff, but we've all been figuring everything out together. So.
So the Polish background, I know a little bit about the food, a little bit about the culture. So what can you say you love the most about being Polish? Do you have something that's either part of what your family does, what you eat, any type of, things that happen every year for the family? Is there something that sticks out?
Probably just the food. My mom cooks really good Polish food all the time, pierogies. I don't know really how else to say it in English, but there's like stuffed cabbage and stuff like that. And there's a lot of really good meals that she makes. So the food is definitely a big one. And most summers I do spend going to Poland. Like growing up, every summer I would be there. So that's also a really cool tradition. And I really enjoy it there and seeing my family.
Some people are in their 40s, 50s, 70s, never been out of the United States. You said you're used to going to Poland in the summer. So, what is it like to go back to the home country for your family? And how can you describe Poland to us? If we haven't been there, paint a picture for us.
So I fly into Krakow, which is like the capital, and I live like 2.5 hours from there as well in Poland. My grandparents, so we stay with my grandparents, and there's a lot of trees, a lot of forests. Um, it's very beautiful there. It's very clean. People are riding bikes, people are walking. I mean, there's cars too, but a lot of people, are walking to the stores and stuff like that. So it was always very fun. People are just outside all the time. And it's just a lot of outdoorsy stuff, and it's very nice. It's not too hot in the summers there. It's like 75s instead of like 90s over here. So it's very nice and peaceful there.
You talked about a lot of people doing things outdoors, and for some reason it brought me to Jim Gaffigan's comedy where he said he wouldn't describe himself as outdoorsy. So I want to know, are you outdoorsy or no?
So in some ways, yes. When I go to Poland, I love to go ride my bike and go on walks with my family and stuff. But camping, I wouldn't go that far as to like camp. I don't think I'm that outdoorsy, but we don't really camp over there, so it's okay. So
I've gotten to speak with a bunch of your teammates and your head coach on the women's tennis team. So I want to go off of what you just said. If you were to camp, I want you to really think hard about this, okay? So when you go out and you camp, you might have to catch your food or you bring your food, but you have to cook your food. You got to make your food, okay? You have to pitch the tent and you have to have somebody stand watch. So of the teammates that you have, who do you trust to make the food so that you can survive? Who is going to be the one that puts the tent together? And who is going to be the one that stands watch for bears?
oh my goodness. Probably to make the food, I would pick Lauren because she likes to cook.
Okay.
And then to watch for bears, I would pick Clara because I feel like she could scare away the bears and like scream at them or something. And then what was the other one? To help build the tent?
Yeah, who's the one that because maybe now it's a lot easier. You probably just open up the box and it pops out, but it used to be a very difficult thing to do by yourself. So if there was someone that had to make the tent put it all together by themselves, who do you trust to be the one that can figure that out?
I feel like I would trust Nydia with that one.
Okay. Why Nydia? Why'd you pick Nydia for that one?
Well, if it was someone working with me, then I would pick Nydia because then we would definitely be able to figure it out. I live with her actually. We're roommates, so
Okay.
I do have a lot of trust in her.
You said if she was working with you, you'd be able to figure it out. That means there's got to be good communication and teamwork. How would you describe the give and take between you and Nydia on a day-to-day basis?
Me and Nydia are like two peas in a pod.
Is she there?
Honestly.
Is she there right now?
No,
Okay.
she's not here. I just say stuff. I just say that kind of stuff, without her even here. But
Okay.
I'm just laughing thinking about her even. We definitely get along very well. A lot of inside jokes, a lot of communication. She knows everything about me, honestly. So
Okay. So I have a very good friend, Isaac. We're like brothers. And so he made a joke one time. And he makes jokes every day. But we were walking one day and I said something to him and he brought up a story from the past in my life, made it funny, and I just stopped walking and I looked at him and I said, "You know way too much." Do you feel that Nydia knows way too much?
oh my gosh, yeah. I find myself telling her stories and she'll be like, "You already told me this," all the time. And like she'll start telling a story and I'll finish it for her. So we definitely have that, like, we know too much. Like we've been together since freshman year and tennis together, school together. So we really talk a lot to each other. So
Who do you think is, like, if you were to go on a game show and you had to prove how well you guys know each other? So she's writing on a whiteboard, you're writing on a whiteboard, and then you have to pick it up and show it, and we'll know if it's the right answer if you guys have the same answer. Between you and Nydia, who do you trust to know the other better?
honestly, I think that she would know me a little bit better just because we have found that she has a lot better of a memory than I do. Like she'll tell me stuff that happened to me and I'll be like, "Oh yeah," like she has a really good memory. So she would probably win, but I would be close.
She tells me stuff that happened to me. Oh my goodness. So Samantha Jaros here with us this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. In this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom, Binghamton women's tennis in the spotlight. So we talked about how you got into it in 5th grade. You didn't want to get your hair wet anymore in the pool, so we stepped away from swimming. What kept you in tennis? Like you said, you felt like you started late for typical tennis players, but you jump in 5th grade. Why'd you stay in?
So I really just enjoyed seeing myself improve so quickly because I started in 5th grade and everyone was telling me, "Oh, you're playing really well for just starting out." And then I just kept going and going and going. And I saw improvements and it motivated me to keep going. And also, of course, my brother and my family were really supporting me. And it was just like kind of a bonding moment for me and him. And I really found it a lot of fun how it was a little bit individual too. of course, like we're on a team as well, but it's a little bit different from other sports, how you're just on the court by yourself, unless you're playing doubles. But so I really enjoyed that too. So yes.
So between singles and doubles, what do you prefer?
So I prefer singles, but college I have really grown to love doubles. But I'll always just prefer singles, I think.
And to some people that have never watched tennis before, the scoring confuses them. So if you were to take somebody who's never watched tennis, never been to a match, never seen anything, and you wanted to give them a crash course in scoring on the court for tennis, what would you say?
You want me to give you the whole rundown?
Whatever you think like would teach somebody, because that's the whole thing. I want people to know. 'Cause some people watch tennis during the Olympics. I want them to understand it now so that they can watch Binghamton here in January, February.
Okay, so you get to the court. So I'm going to talk about singles, even though it's the same scoring. You get to the court and you spin a racket, or the ref flips a coin to decide who serves. And then say I pick serve. So then I go to serve a game.
Yeah.
And a game is 15 for the first point, 30 if you get 2 points, 40, and then game. So that's one game. So 15, 30, 40, and you switch sides for each point. It is pretty confusing without being on the court and demonstrating. But so then this first set goes to 6. So 6 games, first to 6. And then you play another set. And then if you win 2 sets, then you win the match.
So the thing that confuses people is when somebody yells out something like 40 love.
Yeah.
So what? Go ahead.
40 love means 0. You can say love for 0, 15 love, 30 love, 40 love. Or like deuce is if it's 40-40. And then in college, when it's deuce, we just pick a side. The returner gets to pick a side, and then we just next point wins. Because normally there's ads sometimes, but in college we don't have ads. So that's like an extra point after the deuce. But it's just deuce, and then next person to win deuce wins the game.
Are you confused that love, which is supposed to be the greatest thing we can aspire to, amounts to 0 on the tennis court?
Yeah, when I say love in tennis, it doesn't even connect. It's just a whole nother thing.
Now, are you a talker? Are you somebody, because I've watched a bunch of tennis matches, and I've seen men's and women's tennis matches, and you hear people that when they're serving, when they're hitting the ball back and forth, they're gonna, either let out a noise or they're gonna yell. Some people are very, like, how would I say this? They're very animated when they're out there on the court, and some people are very cerebral. They're very focused. So how are you? Are you somebody on the court where you can't really trash talk because it's happening so fast, and I feel like if you were to say words, you're kind of like doing it while you're swinging the racket and whatnot. But are you a verbal tennis player, or are you more cerebral?
So I'm not too verbal. I'm more just focused in the zone. But when I do hit the ball, I have a grunt a little bit. It's not something I love. I'm trying to get rid of it, but I can't help it. I have a little bit of a grunt when I hit the ball, but I'm not a big yeller after the point's over. I mean, if it's a really good point and it's like a very close match, sometimes I'll like give a little fist bump, but I do try to, yell to my teammates a lot for them. But like for myself, I don't really yell or anything.
Well, and you bring up the grunt, and like I said, watching men's and women's tennis, what is it? Like, does it give you power? Is it something that happens uncontrollably? Is it something that you feel like gives you more force? And I'm gonna liken it to this, and you're probably gonna laugh when I say this, but when I played Super Mario growing up, if I jumped with him, I felt like he went farther. So does the grunt help you hit the ball harder, I guess is the question, because some people do it, some people don't. Is it an uncontrollable thing, or is it like a purposeful, I'm throwing my whole body into it, and there's a sound for that?
So I think some people do like force it out a little bit, but for me, if I could, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I kind of hold my breath before I hit the ball, and then when I hit it, like it just like comes out a little bit. But it's just something like if I try not to, then I feel like I'm choking a little bit. I'm like suffocating a little bit.
Yeah, it's like it's something that happens. Like I said, like I've watched a bunch of different matches, and some people did, and some people don't. But I didn't know if there was any type of like thing to it where it's like, oh no, this actually helps your game, or this helps, this gives you, it helps you breathe better. Like you said, you feel like you're holding your breath if you don't do it. So I mean, is it something that you feel like almost lets you exhale, so to speak, in a way, because of the way that you're playing?
Yeah, so there is a way to do it that makes you like your breath have more power to the ball and just your body momentum. But
Yeah.
the way I do it is I just hold my breath and then when I hit it, I have to like breathe. So I don't necessarily do it the best way, but
Yeah.
there is definitely tactics on breathing and stuff and the grunts that help you.
I love the fact that you're like, there's a way to do it, but I don't do it like that.
No.
So for you, if there was, I want to go back to trash talking. If there was a trash talker on the team, or maybe there is, but I'm looking at the roster right now and here in the studio, and like I said, I've spoken with a bunch of your teammates. So Lauren's been on the show. Obviously, you're on right now. Nydia's been on. Angel's been on. So when we look at this team, is there someone that you consider to be the biggest trash talker, the one who's going to let you know, even if y'all are just having fun on the court?
So I don't think we have any trash talkers. I think everyone's pretty respectful, but there are a few of us that do get really into the moment if we're in a match. I think one of the main ones is probably Clara in doubles. If she's wins a point, she really like lets out a nice scream, but it's not like a trash talking way, just kind of more of a celebratory thing. Also, Lauren likes to get like she gets a little bit excited when she's having a close match. But for the most part, I don't think anyone's a trash talker. Just some people have like commands they throw in there or like little screams here and there, but nothing like trash talking, I'd say.
I can say that from talking with Lauren in person and then interviewing her as well, I feel like she's all smiles when you're like seeing her in public, but I feel like on the court she has a killer eye. Like there's just something else to it. Is that fair?
Yeah, she means business on court, definitely. She turns it on.
So being at Binghamton, having this team, having this experience for you, hindsight 2020, would you do it again? I know you said it's a little cold and in this part of upstate New York and in New York in general, but when you look back on your opportunity to be at Binghamton and taking that opportunity, would you do it again?
I would do it again. I think that it has taught me a lot and shaped me into who I am today. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
Why are you laughing?
I'm just a giggly person, I guess.
Okay. You're like, I wouldn't change it for the world. Then the laugh comes in. I mean, is it the snow? So, but Poland has snow, right? I mean, you have snow out there, don't you? So,
Yes.
okay. So, I mean, so you live with Nydia. Is there anybody else or just you and her?
So we actually also live with Julia, who used to be on the team
Okay.
last year. So
If you were all snowed in, which one of the three of you would you think would be the one that would finally say, okay, whatever, we got to get out, we have to get groceries, I'm going to shovel? Who's the one that would go outside?
honestly, probably, oh, it depends. Maybe Julia. Julia would probably shovel.
Okay. Well, you and Nydia put the tent together.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
We would tell her where to shovel and no, I'm kidding. We would all help and pitch it, I think. We're all very proactive people.
Okay, so you're down in Binghamton, outside of school, outside of tennis. What are you doing? Do you have a spot? No, we talked about food back at home. Is there a place that you like to go in Binghamton? Is there somewhere that, I mean, there's rolling hills, right? There's something to upstate New York and the beauty of it, especially in the fall when there's all the colors of the leaves changing and whatnot. I call it the fruity pebbles when you're on 81. So is there something you like to do or a place you like to eat at that makes Binghamton feel more like a second home?
Yeah, so I am obsessed with sushi. I love to go to Thai Time on Wednesdays when it's half off. I love to go to Bao Bao and get even a platter because there's a really good deal on their platters and their lunch sushi. So I definitely love going and getting sushi with friends or whoever. I'm always, even if it's alone, like to go. I love sushi.
So I never thought I'd like sushi. I watched the Ninja Turtles growing up as a kid, and I was like, pizza's awesome. And then Splinter would eat sushi, the giant rat, and I was like, that looks so disgusting on the cartoon. I tried the Gateway sushi, which I consider a California roll. And
Yeah.
so I gave it a shot. I actually really like it now. I don't want to load the question and tell you what my favorite is. What is your favorite sushi and what is your least favorite sushi?
Okay, so I also started off with the California roll because, like you said, I agree, it's like the gateway sushi. But now it's my least favorite.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I don't like the crab in it. Now I love the salmon sushis, the tuna sushis. So my favorite, I love the Philadelphia roll and I love a spicy salmon roll.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So before we get into rapid fire, where we could put each other on the hot seat and talk about literally any topic, I do want to get to your head coach, Paul Caceres. He's been on the show. He was on the show when he first got hired to be the coach. So I've known him from the beginning of the beginning at Binghamton. How would you describe your head coach?
So Coach Paul is very supportive. That's the way I would describe him. He's supportive. He believes in us. He wants us to succeed. He's motivational, patient,
Okay.
and a good listener. He's just very supportive.
Okay. So having that support that he gives, how have you seen that help you? Because sometimes people need tough love. Sometimes you need someone to be there when you're down and just, put a hand on your back and say, hey, you got the next one. It's going to be fine. So how does he lead? What's his typical form of leadership?
So he does. He's more of the hand on the back, like you got the next one, don't worry about it. Instead of like yelling at you or like what did you do that for? Like he just focuses on the next one and he doesn't harp on the past. And that is something that I work well with. I don't find myself working as well with coaches who are just yelling at you. Some people do, that lights the fire under their butt a little bit, but for me, I like someone who can help me calm down and focus on the next point.
You said that he helps you say, forget about this one, whatever's happened, let's go on to the next. Do you feel in life, because that's probably one of the greatest lessons that can ever be taught, is to let the past go and focus on the present? Do you feel like you've gotten good at that?
Yeah, definitely being here and playing on this team and tennis in general, you have to just forget about what happened the point before and focus on the one in front of you. And I do think I still need work in this area, but I definitely have gotten a lot better in it.
And you had matches, you had opportunities in September and October. Then you have this big break until February 7th, which is going to be in Buffalo on a Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time against the University at Buffalo. Then you head to Merrimack before you find yourself at NEC play at Stonehill. So you're not going to have a home match for Binghamton University until Saturday, February 21st against Deauville, who will come into town at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So bring me into kind of the breakup of the season, the fact that you have a little bit in the fall, then there's this giant break, not that you're not practicing and prepping and whatnot, but how do you kind of navigate the break and knowing the fact that we still got, a little bit less than a month before we get to see you at home?
So I definitely train a lot in the winter season for the spring. Fall is more of just getting into it, and because a lot of people have internships in the summer, jobs and stuff like that. So we try to play, but it could be a little bit difficult in the summertime. So in the fall, we just honestly, I see fall as a practice for the spring and just to try to go out there and, work hard and practice your skills that you want to bring to the spring. And in the winter, I personally train a lot so that spring can just, you can just go in strong for the spring right away and start instead of having to warm up with the first few matches. And I am excited that I'm excited for our matches. I really like our schedule. I wish we had a few more home matches because I love the home matches too. So we don't have as much this year, but the ones we do, I'm excited for.
Samantha Jaros here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Sam, it's time for us to put each other on the hot seat in rapid fire. You can ask me any topic, any question. We will go back and forth one for one. So you ask, then I'll ask. What's your first question for me?
Oh my goodness. What's your favorite sport?
Oh my goodness, that's tough. I mean, there's certain ones that I love to watch, but the one where I could shut my brain off, play the game, I love it dearly, and had a lot of success in it. I don't do participation trophies. Those things don't matter to me, but like right over my shoulder, I don't know if you could see it, but there's a championship trophy for basketball. And we played indoor and outdoor games, which obviously the hoops are different, the rims are different and all that. And I was MVP of that. So basketball to me really is just a sport that I love, put so many hours into. Now that we have Game Point Sports Complex, which is this really awesome state-of-the-art indoor facility. And I want to thank Jim Dispenza for creating it and making sure we had something like this in Central New York. It's gotten me back into it. It's gotten me back to the last time I was on the court there, I felt like it felt like how I felt when I was at the public safety building in their court on the top floor years and years and years ago. So basketball is always in me, but I'm finally like feeling back into it because I don't know. There's like a poetry to it. There's an orchestra to it. And I just love basketball. So I would say basketball.
Nice.
All right. My question back to you. I'm going to say you'd beat me on the tennis court. Do you trust that I could beat you on the basketball court? Or do you have some hoop skills that we don't know about?
So I'm a tall girl, but I am not good at basketball at all. I think that's actually my least favorite sport to play.
Okay.
I did play it growing up, and I played a whole bunch of sports, but basketball I was weakest at, I think.
All right, cool. So I'm going to come down and we'll do like a wake-up call thing. So we'll do a tennis court, basketball court thing. We'll have court for court. We should do that. If I can at least win on the basketball court, then we'll air it. If I lose on both, we're not going to air it. What's your next question for me?
Oh my goodness. What's your favorite food?
I feel like this changes from time to time. I'm Italian and Hispanic, so I'm very spoiled with what I get to choose from. I would say, I love making I love making tacos at home, but I also love pizza. I guess I would say pizza, just because I know whenever I go somewhere new, I always want to see what their pizza situation's like. So I think I'll say pizza. And I had octopus pizza on the Amalfi Coast in Italy in Capri, and that was incredible. And I think about that pizza all the time. My question back to you. Okay, so I have my own Sunday at Carvel DeWitt, and I have my own breakfast sandwich at Mother's Cupboard in Central New York. If we were to make your special dish, like if you had something named after you, what would be on the plate, dessert or meal, and what restaurant would it be at? So if you could pick, this is going to be my signature NIL meal, what is it and what restaurant?
Oh, this is just wow. I could think of so many things right here, but I would probably do it at Hudson Taco, my favorite restaurant back home. Yeah. And this is not really their cuisine, but of course, sushi would be a Philadelphia roll would be what I pick.
So you go to Hudson Taco and bring them sushi. Okay.
Yes.
What is your last question for me, Sam?
What is your dream vacation place?
Well, I used to say a couple answers. One of them was Italy, and I got to go last year. So it definitely still is, but I'm happy that I got to be there. I would say the one that I'm hoping to go with my mom and I spoke to my family overseas, so I'm hoping that I'll get to see them for the first time ever in person. They knew my grandma, my great-grandma, my Nana, and my Gammy. So I would say Spain. And I hear nothing but good things. Like I said, there's family over there. My mom and I were just talking yesterday because for my birthday, she surprised me that she's going to take me overseas. And I got to go to Italy with my dad. My mom's never been overseas. My dad had never been overseas. So I think my answer would be Spain. And I'm hopeful to God that in a few months I'll be able to say I did it.
That's awesome.
All right. My question back to you. All right. I like this because I like to. And now you can pick any teammate. So it doesn't have to be your teammates in Binghamton. It could be high school. It could be anybody. But I want you're running for president of the United States. You win. Who is your vice president that has to be a teammate? And what is the first, like you can do anything in the country. You can change anything. You can make anything. You can get rid of something. Who's your vice president? And what's the first thing that you both do together?
I'm going to have to say Nydia. No surprise there. And I think we would get rid of daylight savings because I just hate this getting dark at 3 p.m. I would change that because that is the worst.
You know, it's really funny that the current president, President Trump, said he wanted to get rid of it. People thought he was insane. And here's Sam saying, I'm done with it. I'm done with daylight savings. So for Samantha Jaros, as well as myself, Dan Tortora, this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom, Sam, it has been my pleasure having you on the show. Awesome to hear the Poland connection as well and how often you get to go back there, which is really, really cool. And Binghamton continues to show that the stories told by student athletes are unique and everyone has their own special journey. I thank you. I thank your team. And I look forward to talking with you all soon and seeing you all in February.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Have a good day and say hi to your family.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. That coming from Sam one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. That was fun. Like, that's so cool. You know what I mean? It's like some people say this is the country. Well, I mean, if you have an international student, right, you might have somebody go back and forth. But if you have someone that's living here with their family, you don't always hear the back and forth. And the fact that Sam gets to go back to Poland so often, it's got to be like normal for her. You know, that might be like me going to Florida, right? I went to Florida every year growing up as a kid, and Poland and traveling overseas and having that be normal. That's really cool. And I hope Sam, your family continues that for generations, that you have that back and forth. That was really a cool part of the story. And, you know, it was cool that we got into that. I never know, you know, I kind of just let the conversations flow. But, you know, the side of it of the air breathing and like the grunt sometimes or holding your breath or you know, exhaling or not, it is interesting because I have watched the matches and I thought to myself, some people do it, some people don't. But it's like a unique response that you almost wonder, you know, do you hold it and then exhale the way that you do because it helps with the power? And Sam, that was funny. Sam said, yes, it does work, but I don't do it the right way. So I definitely appreciate the conversation and the comedy and the realness of Sam. And shout out to Nydia and the whole team. And like I said, Angel's been on the show as well as Lauren. So, and Coach Caceres. So I've had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with the Binghamton women's tennis team, and it's been an absolute pleasure and honor, as well as with all the Bearcats when it comes to student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. We will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to round out the show as we always do on a Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. Today's topic, forming positive habits. Stay with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Honda. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
New York, great cars, great people, great lakes. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. Avicolli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicolli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicolli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013 and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9 ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you where sports meets life, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, we are now here inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios for the Ingredients to Success. The Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. You will find them open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, as always, drink only if you're of age and drink responsibly over at Avicolli's. And you can order takeout, delivery, and catering by going to by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100 to get in touch with Avicolli's. You can also go online to myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. So make sure you get in touch with Avicolli's today. Let them know the DT sent you. And of course, for lunch, dinner, and drinks, you can find them on site at 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. It is the home of all of our Liverpool Athletic on-site broadcasts, and we will be back there very soon. So make sure you stay close to our social media to find out when that's going to be happening next. Avicolli's also every Tuesday to round out the show brings you the Ingredients to Success. And today's topic for the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli's, forming positive habits. Positive habits, right? They say that it takes 3 weeks to create a habit. 21 days. It's my favorite number. It takes 3 weeks to create a habit. Now, it can take a very, very small amount of time to lose that habit, but you can create a bad habit or a good habit. They talk about habits taking 3 weeks to create. So my question to you, what habits have you created in your life? You know, there's habits that I have to get rid of, habits that I have to change, that I think I can be better at, that I know that I can be better at. So I focus on saying to myself, okay, if this is a direction that I've taken in my life and I don't like it, or I think it's not good or not conducive to having a positive, healthy, and well lifestyle, then I have to change that habit, right? So you're in your life figuring out what habits are good for you and what habits are not, and forming positive habits. What are the ingredients to success for that? Well, first and foremost, it's acknowledging, okay, here are my habits. This is what I do. This is what I don't do. And once you acknowledge the habits you have, now you can figure out which ones am I keeping, which ones am I getting rid of, which ones are positive that are helping me in a good way, putting me in the right direction, and which ones are taking me away from good things, right? Which ones are working against me and working against my wellness, working against, the betterment of my life. So the first thing that you do when you're looking at your habits is to understand, which ones do I already have? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they positive? Are they negative? Do they bring me closer to God, in my case, because faith is most important to me, or do they bring me away from God? Are they helping me? Are they hurting me, right? If you have a habit of being late, that is not a good habit. That habit works against you. Because if you're late for one thing, then you're probably late for many, many things, right? They say the way you do one thing is how you do everything, which is very important when we look at habits. Because if you're typically late to something, then are you late to everything? If you typically do research, right? Here's a positive habit. If you typically do research, then are you finding yourself doing research for everything? There is something to be said about how you do one thing is how you do everything. And sometimes I've looked at my life and I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think I could be better in this area, but, over here, I think I do it the right way. Over here, I think I could do it better. But eventually, habits creep in, positive or negative, and then you start seeing, as I have, when you say, well, I think I do it right over here and I could do it better over there, eventually it bleeds one way or the other. Either the one you're doing right over here, you're also doing this one right over there, or the one that you're not doing right starts to bleed into the one that you are, and now you feel like in both you're failing. You need to do better. So the ingredients to success for creating positive habits, forming positive habits, understanding what your current habits are, understanding which ones are working for you or against you, what's positive, what's negative. Once you know, here are my good habits, here are my bad ones, okay? You want to keep the good ones, so then you think to yourself, what do I have to do to preserve the good habits that I have, right? If I'm always on time, and I know if it takes 20 minutes for me to get somewhere, that I always try to leave 35 to 40 minutes before, just in case there's traffic or anything else going on. Okay, well, that's something that you know, that's something that you practice, so it's something you have to keep, right? You don't leave 20 minutes before to get to a doctor's appointment, but then leave barely giving yourself the 20 minutes that you need to go to a practice, right? You want to make sure if you're early to this, you're early to that. So you have to look at your life and say, what am I early for? What am I late for? What am I on time for? And I think about Paul Pasqualoni, which I think they said, and I'm sure other people have said this too, but that Paul Pasqualoni said, like, if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. So think about that. If it takes you 20 minutes to get somewhere, when do you leave? Right? That's forming a positive habit, because it could be a bright, sunny day, no condensation, nothing on the ground, everything's perfect, but then there's a car accident or a street light stopped working and it's just flashing, and that could add 5 more minutes. So typically you get somewhere right on time, now you're going to be 5 minutes late. Well, if you know it takes 25 minutes, and normally you can leave with those 25 minutes and get there right on time, maybe you leave 30 minutes ahead. Maybe you leave 35 minutes ahead. Because, see, my thing is, whenever I leave early, I'm always thinking to myself, I'm missing something. I could have done something. I could have stayed and edited more in the studio. I could have worked on something else. I could have written an email. I could have paid this bill. I could have made this phone call. Like, I could have done all these things. So that's my mental thing that I have to change, right? Because I'm late because I'm not trying to do bad things, right? I'm late thinking to myself, well, I want to spend as much time as I possibly can getting this done. Perfect example was yesterday. I had to shovel and I had to clean off my car. Well, my show ended a lot later than I anticipated. Yesterday we gave you almost 4 hours, Ross and I, instead of 2. And under promise, over deliver, that's fine. But I told my mom I'm meeting you at 1 for lunch. Well, when I finished, to be ready, get out of the studio, do everything I need to do to make sure I get to where I need to get to, if I'm leaving straight from my studio, then I was like, I can do it. I can get there. But what did I do? I edited. Instead of saying, I know I have to clean off my car and that could maybe get there right on time or a couple minutes late, I decide to edit, then clean off my car, then go. So I was late. So I have to know and anticipate, I got to choose, right? What one do I have to do right now? I have to clean off my car. I don't have to edit this thing right now. I can edit it after lunch. And, to me, I'm constantly wanting to grow and improve and do a bunch of different things with the show. So I find myself pushing myself to do all this stuff, where sometimes you have to say, you know what, I got to save that for later. Maybe I edit tonight, right? Maybe I get a hot tea and I go down to I go over to my studio and I just edit, right? Instead of trying to force it in the midst of everything. Like, I know today the meetings that I have. I know the appointments that I have, and I know that 2 are close together, but I've already figured out, with those being close together, how I'm going to adjust. I'm also going to get to the first one early, hoping that if I get there early, I can get in early, and if I get in early, I get out early, which gives me more time in between, which will allow me the opportunity to be on time. Because if you're late for one, you're probably going to be late the rest of the day. And I've already seen that happen. If I'm late to one meeting, it rolls over and it rolls over and it rolls over, and you spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. And it's not the person's fault that has the 4th meeting with you that you were late to the first one, right? So sometimes things run. Sometimes it's longer than you anticipate, and you try to let people know, like, hey, this is coming up, or I got this going on. But it's very important to be on time and I know that that's one thing. I'm transparent on and off the air. That's one thing I can get better at. And I know that I don't like waiting. I don't like sitting and waiting for people that are late. So then it's like, okay, well, common sense would tell you if you don't like doing it, why would you have somebody sit there? And I never do it with malice. I'm never wanting somebody to sit and wait for me because I don't care. But it doesn't matter how, I'm looking to do that. People can perceive if they're waiting for you, whatever your reason is, it's annoying, right? People have lives. We have things we need to do. And if you're late, then you make us late, and we don't want to be late. So my dad and my mom talk to me all the time about doing the things you can control, taking care of what you can control. You can't control what people say or do, but you can make sure you don't give them a reason, right? If you're not late, people can't say, well, Dan's a great guy, but, right? And so there's things you have to think about within your control and form those positive habits. And if you see yourself, you've run into a bad habit, you're late all the time, or maybe when somebody talks, you don't listen because you just are concerned with your life and you're concerned with talking. And so maybe when you're on the phone with a friend, you catch yourself talking over somebody and just focusing on what you want to say, but you're not listening to them. And I checked myself one time. I was on the phone a few times, but the first time I did it, I was on the phone. And I said to myself, if I talk the whole time, then I'm on the phone, or the majority of the time, then the person that I call can be interchangeable. I'm telling that person on the phone that they don't matter. Could be my mom, could be my dad, could be Isaac, could be anybody. Because if I'm calling you, could be James, could be, Joey, Johnny. If I'm calling you and I'm talking the majority of the time, then it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. You get what I'm saying? Because if you're not listening to what that person has to say on the other end of the phone, then that person can be interchangeable. So in a way, you may not be meaning to, but you're kind of telling the person you're on the phone with, like, you don't really matter. Like, you're the first person that picked up, right? I'm going to tell you and my other friend and my girlfriend and my mom and I'm going to tell you all the same story, right? But you're not listening. So that conversation, like if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, that conversation with them is not unique to the conversation with your mom, right? Your conversations you have should be unique because your relationships should be unique because your relationships individually are supposed to be special, right? Like if I call up Jason and I call up Isaac and I talk 95% of the time, it doesn't matter which one I'm talking to because they have no place in the conversation. But if I talk and I listen and I talk, well now, okay, the conversation with Jason is unique. The conversation with Isaac is unique. And every conversation you have, you should seek to be unique. And what I mean by that is the person that you are talking to in that moment, or if you're talking to your dog, your cat, whatever, who you are spending your time with in that moment should have value. Because you would not want to be on the other side of a conversation where somebody's talking and you're just sitting there. I remember I was doing that. I was, in the dating world, I learned that, I'd get on the phone and I'd talk so much, right? You want to make a good impression. Maybe you're a little bit nervous. And, you fast forward to now, and I was on the phone with a girl, total stranger, barely knew her. And she ended up talking about her ex. And then time went by and I just put the phone down. And I walked around and I started doing stuff. I'm like, I don't want to hold the phone right now. I have no point in this conversation. She could literally be talking to anybody. She doesn't even know if I'm here right now. And I thought to myself, how many times did I have a conversation like that where somebody might have put the phone down on me and been like, he doesn't even know that I'm here. He just won't stop talking. And so I think it's important to make sure that what we don't like, we don't give, right? Don't present something that you don't want. if you wrap poo with a nice bow in a nice box, it's still poo. And if you don't want poo to be your gift, well, then you shouldn't be giving it. So if I don't like sitting on the phone thinking to myself, why the hell am I on this phone? This person could be talking to a wall right now. It doesn't matter. Then don't present that type of conversation to someone else, right? When I look at Lily and I think, man, I'm running around, I got so many meetings, I want to be a better dad. Well, don't just say that every day to God. Just be a better dad. Keep asking for more time. Let me make it right. Let me make it right. Make it right now. Right? Because time goes by. And we have to make sure in our lives that we're valuing our time. We have to make sure that we are doing things that, that we have habits that are going to create a life that we can be proud of. Because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. Right? This could be the last day of your life. You could have 100 years from now. You don't know. But the habits you form today and you dedicate yourself to have an opportunity to pay off dividends or to take from you. Bad habits will take from your life. Good habits will give to your life. So what does God say? I never forgot this parable or whatever it is in the Bible about, Jesus walking down a road and we're all like trees. And when he stops to pick our fruit, when he stops at our tree, are we a tree that has bore fruit? Or are we a tree that's all rotted and we don't have any fruit? We're just dead leaves, right? So you reap what you sow. So if you sow a life that has a lot of bad habits, you won't reap many good things. But if you sow a life where you practice good habits, then you have the opportunity to reap that, right? If you're on time and you're respectful and you look people in the eye and you shake their hand and you get up when you're being introduced to someone that if you can stand, that you stand up and you shake their hand and you're off your phone and you're engaged with them and you're actively listening and responding and you're having a give and take conversation, well, you have an opportunity to make a lot of good impressions on people. But if you don't have eye contact, if you're on your phone during a meeting, like if I go to a meeting and somebody's on their phone, if I go on a date and somebody's on their phone, unless you have like some emergency going on or you're trying to make sure your kid's okay, your kid might be sick at school and you might have to bring him home. If that's not going on, you have no reason to look at your phone. I remember one time I was on a date, it was a double date, and I was doing a favor, and I went on this double date, and this girl looked at me and she goes, wow. And I was like, what? She's like, we all owe you a round of applause. And I was like, what are you talking about? She said, we're all on our phones here at this table, and I haven't seen you touch your phone one time. She's like, don't you own your own business? I said, yeah. She said, aren't you worried that something's going on? I was like, my phone's gone off a ton of times in my pocket, but I'm here with you. I'm supposed to be on this date, and I respect you enough to keep my phone in my pocket and actually be here with you. I said, if there's something going on or somebody needs me, they'll get to me. But I can put my phone, I said, my phone goes off all day long. God has been great. I got people on our social media, watching our videos, reading our articles, reading our posts, listening to stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm grateful to God that my phone goes off, right? But I also don't want to be one of those people. Again, I don't like when that happens to me. I don't want to be, if I'm on a date and you're on your phone, that's probably the last date we're going to have. If it's not an emergency, and that'll change everything. We could have a great date. It's going on 2 hours. We're laughing. We're having a great time. And then I see you do this. And I'm talking and you're just not engaged at all. You have no idea what I'm saying. You're not responding. You're just Uh-huh. Wow. That's interesting. What'd you say? I'm probably never going out with that girl again. There's friends that I see like once or twice a year. If you're on your phone when I see you, then there's no point in seeing you that 1 or 2 times a year. Right? And I pay attention to that stuff. And people don't know that. But like James and I, we don't, I'd like to see him more. We see each other a few times a year. But when we go out and we get lunch or dinner, he does not have his phone out. If anything, it's me checking myself going, put your dang phone away, Daniel. He doesn't have his phone out. My mom used to have her phone out all the time. Then she started putting it away. So when I take my phone out, she calls me out. As she should. You got to practice the habits. And the funny thing is like, well, Dan, how do I know if I have a good habit or a bad habit? How can I tell the difference? Think about the things you don't like that people do to you, right? If you don't like people making you wait, don't be late. If you don't like people taking their phone out when they're having a meeting with you, don't take your phone out when you're having a meeting with them. If you don't like people that, I found it really interesting. I go back to times in college where I'd be having a conversation with someone in the cafeteria, and if they were talking, I had to have eye contact with them, and they could not see me look away one time. If I looked away, they were paranoid. What's he looking at? What's he doing? Why doesn't he care about me? But they looked away half the conversation, and when I said, well, you don't like it, so why do you do it? They said, well, you can't fault me for it. I got a short attention span. And I was like, wait a minute. I can't make those excuses. I can't say that. So I have to look at you at all times or I'm disrespecting you. But then on the flip side, you don't have to look at me. It's not fair. Right? So think about the things you don't like that people do to you or say to you, and then shift it. Like, I was never a big swearer growing up. I wasn't somebody who sweared a lot. And then I kind of did. And then I'd stop. And I found that every time I stop swearing, I feel better. I feel lighter. And then when I'm around people that don't swear, I'm like, wow, I aspire to be like them. And I think to myself, well, you used to be like that. So if you want to be like that, practice that good habit. And so the last couple days, I've checked myself. Not that I haven't sworn, but I've stopped myself a bunch of times. I went to say something, I pulled back. I changed my words. And I've done it a few times. And I've noticed it because now I'm practicing not swearing as much. Because it's not necessary. And swearing, it like releases some type of angst in you that doesn't need to be there. So I pull it back. And I say, you know what? Why would I put something out there in the world that I don't have to put out there in the world? So you have to know the habits you have. If you don't know if they're good or bad, think about what you don't like that people do to you or say to you. And think about the things you do like that people do and say to you, right? Write them down. Think about the things that are going wrong in your life and see if there's any correlation with what you're doing or saying that's providing that those things are going wrong, right? People are giving you like you're always late, and people that typically don't give you an attitude are now giving you an attitude. They're being rude to you. They're not answering when you call. Well, that's direct correlation to the fact that maybe they feel disrespected that you were late. So stop being late. And maybe they give you another chance. Maybe they don't. But for the next person, be on time. Whenever you meet somebody new, you have the opportunity to show the best version of yourself because they have not been around to see all of the poorer versions of you. But the people who are around, you can still change that too. If someone's been a part of your life your whole life and you've done something like you swear all the time and you're always negative, the person that meets you today, you can show them different. And they'll always know you as someone who doesn't really swear and is not really negative. But why can't you show that to the people that have been around for 20, 30 years? It's never too late to choose good habits, but you have to stick with them. When I started walking, I had to tell my body that this is what we're going to do. Then my body got used to it. My body demanded it. My body was like, what are you doing? Now that I haven't been walking again, my body's been saying to me, hey, we need you to get to do this again. We need you to get off your butt. You know, you have things that help you. Like, I have always been a person where I'm cognizant of the fact that you can either control your mind or your mind can control you. And I found that by walking, simply walking and praying, walking in silence, walking with music, walking with all three, it cleared my head and gave me more control over my mind than I've ever had. So if I come into a place where I feel like I don't really have control of my mind, I have a lot of negative thoughts, I'm feeling really down, I can't seem to get out of my funk, I know that walking works. I know that was a good habit. So when I'm sitting here saying, well, what the heck can I do to feel better? You already know what you can do. You know what worked. And I can tell you that there's things that don't work. Okay? Doing drugs, temporary fix. Not that I've done them, but I'm just saying. Drugs are a Band-Aid. Being physical in intimacy, Band-Aid. Alcohol, Band-Aid. Buying stuff, Band-Aid. There are things in life that we try to consume things, right? You consume physical behavior, you consume material goods, you consume alcohol, you consume drugs to fill a void that they're not meant to fill. Drugs can't fill the void of love. Alcohol can't make something that happened not happen. Buying a bunch of stuff can't take the place of the fact that, you know, you and your friend aren't talking anymore. Being overly physical cannot provide for you the love and affection that you never received in this relationship or that relationship. We seek things that don't have any connection to, how do I want to say this? We seek things that don't solve problems. They just make us feel better for a second. And I think that it's really important for us to take time to see the things in our lives that we do, see the things in our lives that we don't do, and figure out how we want to live the rest of our lives. Like, it's January 2026. Typically, the ball drops and people say, I'm going to change. But why can't you change on, or it's January 27th today. Why can't you say you're going to change on January 27th? Why can't you change on February 13th? Why can't you change on June 2nd, July 1st, October 5th, right? You wake up in the morning, you want to be better, then be better. And positive habits can change your entire life. And if there is truth, which I think there is, that how you do one thing is how you do everything, well, if you practice not being late to something, all of a sudden you're not late to anything. You practice not swearing on this conversation where you typically swear with this friend, but now you're not swearing with your mom, now you're not swearing with your dad, now you're not swearing over here, now you don't have to check yourself over there. You know yourself well enough, and you'll get to know yourself well enough to know this hurts me, right? When I do this, this hurts my belly. I feel off. I feel strange. I feel in a funk. And you start to learn the things that just take you away from God, take you away from yourself, make you feel like you're not you. And you have to get back to those things. And if you fall into bad habits, you experience over time, you go, wow, every time I fall into this, it has this negative effect on me, right? If I don't cook and I force myself to go get fast food and I go to these places I don't like to eat at, I might get away with it once or twice, but it always ends up hurting my stomach, and my stomach always has to reset. And I go through feeling in pain and feeling uncomfortable. And it's like, take the extra time to meal prep, because you know that every single time you force yourself into fast food, it never ends well for you. And you know that. So stop thinking you can get away with it today when you couldn't get away with it 3 years ago. If we listen to our mind and we listen to our heart and we listen to our bodies, they will tell you things. And when you don't know anything, go to the Bible. That's what I did last night. That's what I'm doing more of. Go to the Bible. Listen to God. You would be amazed that in the first few pages of the Bible, God has advice that makes perfect sense over 2,000 years later. That is not a coincidence. I call those God incidences. And your ingredients to success today are to identify the things that are helping you, identify the things that are hurting you, and have the courage to make a change. Stop thinking that you can't. If you can make a bad habit happen, you can make a good habit happen. And the only thing making you think you can't is your mind standing in your own way. Make sure your mind works for you and not you for it. These have been the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. You can see them 7 days a week, lunch, dinner, and their bar is also open Monday through Sunday. 315-622-5100 for takeout, catering, and delivery. That's 315-622-5100, a number to remember for the upcoming NFL title game. And, of course, you can go online and order at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. We'll take one final step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. When I come back, we'll wrap up today's show and let you know what's coming up inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
A big time shout out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Head over there today. The cups are back. Those commemorative cups, those awesome limited time only cups that there's 4 of them. And the first one that Chick-fil-A DeWitt had sold out. Get your way over there. Today you may be able to find one. So head over there. It's lunchtime to the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard at Chick-fil-A DeWitt to Megan Sorber and her team. And enjoy the awesome, fantastic favorites at Chick-fil-A, including limited time only specials and opportunities like those signature cups. We'll see you on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, Chick-fil-A DeWitt. You can't miss it. The giant brick building right there on the corner. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I want to thank Enrique Cruz Jr. I want to thank Samantha Jaros, as well as Avicolli's for the ingredients to success in today's broadcast up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. We are live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, under promise, over deliver, as we are here with you on Wake Up Call today, of course, past 11 o'clock, and that's a normal thing for us here on the show. Big time thanks to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. You can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Download us, subscribe to us, follow us on all of these outlets, and of course on Podbean alone, over 2,000 episodes of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, dating back over a decade's worth of time. You can also ask Alexa in your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that for you as well. Big time thanks to our wonderful Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, Brian's Landing Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mon Paz's Snack Capital of the World, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Avicolli's, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Mother's Cupboard, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. You'll find the Bobcats in the Bobcat Buzz. 4 years of coverage of the Bobcats, giving you unprecedented coverage, consistent coverage like you've never had it before. Bryan and Stratton and I got to make history here in this partnership, and the opportunity to see all of these wonderful student athletes, coaches, administration, and more. Go to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the BSC Syracuse playlist, and of course, for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday, like today, during Bearcat time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show to tell the story of Binghamton. And you'll find all of our content by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your lasers every other Wednesday here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, and administration come to us in the Laser Lounge. You can find all of our content with OCC by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our OCC playlist. The lasers are also available at OnondagaLasers.com. And go Lasers. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, once again, many thanks inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', snack capital of the world. When you're watching shows, you want a snack and find all those fantastic flavors. The sweet and savory is all at Mod and Paz, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Popcorn, kettle corn, They have their signature specialty premium corns like the Elvis, which is the banana flavored popcorn with Reese's peanut butter drizzle on it. Fantastic. And of course, you can also find their chocolate dipped wonderfulness, the pretzels, the Oreos, their freeze dried candy, their cotton candy, their lemonade. It's all there on site on location, as well as every one of their tins, whichever one you buy, whatever size, you get half price refills at Ma and Pa's for the rest of your life. If you buy it for someone else, they get half price refills for the rest of their lives. So make sure you head to Ma and Pa's today and let yourself be immersed in the amusement park of flavor for your taste buds at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Thanks to Enrique Cruz Jr. and shout out to the upcoming NFL Scouting Combine for him, as well as for the NFL Draft coming up. And God bless to my VP. Many thanks to Samantha Jaros for being on the show today, having the opportunity to speak with her about her journey, about tennis, about her family, about Poland and her connection there, and so much more in this Binghamton Bearcat Breakroom. And of course, all of our Binghamton content, make sure you check it out on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Look for that Binghamton playlist. And many thanks, as always, every Tuesday and all the time to Avicolli's for their fantastic food and their wonderful partnership. Thanks to John Frotto and the entire team, the Avicolli family, at 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. Today's topic, forming positive habits in the ingredients to success, which is with you every Tuesday around 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DTX, at Call DT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.